Hey, what's up? I'm Ga, and today we are in Outerplane. So this is a game I picked up recently. It's fairly new. It's been out for maybe a month, a little over a month or so. This is the game that I picked up and kind of fell in love with and stuck with after quitting 7 Mortal Sins. I figured I'd throw a new player beginner guide, kind of like a getting started tips video out there. Just some tips and tricks for beginners and new players. If you guys are looking for a new game, something different, exciting, fresh, fun,
Are there bites even
then
that
definitely give this
menacing?
game a go. It's kind of like an anime style inspired action role-playing turn-based strategy game. It's pretty cool. I like it. There's a little bit of idle game mechanics in it, which is fine, but it's not entirely based around the idle system like a lot of idle games are. There is obviously auto battle features in the game, but the combat mechanics themselves, if you choose to manual, and you will probably need to manual for harder endgame content, especially things like in the guild or in PvP, a lot of the higher difficulty stage grinds, you're going to need to manual those at least the first time around. So the combat mechanics themselves are actually pretty in-depth and well-rounded, I think. I like them a lot. But let's go ahead and jump into kind of the new player beginner guide. So first thing you're going to want to do
What does that even mean?
after creating
Why
your
is a
account
deer biting
is
you?
clear the adventure. I believe it's chapter 1-4 on normal mode. So episode 1 part 4 I believe is what unlocks the ability to summon or recruit. And then once you do that, there is going to be a banner over here on the far left. I'm going to go over here just so you guys can see that area of the screen. But yeah, down here on the far left, there's going to be a banner that you can re-roll as many times as you want until you're satisfied with the pull. I don't remember exactly who's on there. But the character that I recommend going for from that banner is going to be Noah. So another thing I kind of want to do in this video is kind of try to explain why some of the characters are good, like why you would want to re-roll for them, what they'll end up doing for your account. And Noah is a good starting point. She has been the hyper carry on my account. I've literally funneled all of my resources into her, and she has just cleared pretty much everything for me. She does all the damage on my team. I just threw 3 other characters on the team that support her to help her deal more damage, and she just carries. That's what a hyper carry does, right? She will hyper carry your account if you fully invest into her. And the reason she is such a good hyper carry is because of her skills. So starting from weakest to strongest, Noah Kaiser X. It's a big AoE that deals damage, additional damage based on the max health of the enemy if she has 5 or more Kaiser energy, which she builds up with her first skill. It's good, but it's not the best. Her other 2 abilities up here, Kaiser Knuckle and Kaiser Cannon. Let me go ahead and try to find somewhere better to move to get out of the way. We'll go over here. Okay, so Kaiser Knuckle and Kaiser Cannon, these are her bread and butter. This is kind of what makes her do the thing she does. So Kaiser Cannon is not something that you can actually use in combat. It's like her skill too, but you can't click it. It triggers when her first skill, Kaiser Knuckle, crits, and she gets an automatic follow-up attack. So Kaiser Knuckle is a single target attack, and if that attack crits, then she gets to follow up with Kaiser Cannon, which is an AoE hit. And just these two combined will basically, you know, just deal all the damage for your team. This is really all you need to do is just spam Kaiser Knuckle, and then like she'll just win. Or if you just want to click auto, like Kaiser X actually does decent damage, especially in like story mode, and you know, if you're up against like a bunch of enemies, you can hit them all at once. It's not terrible. And then you know, this is pretty good too. Her chain skill's okay, but really it's just Kaiser Knuckle into Kaiser Cannon, and that's how she's going to be carrying you. She just does a lot of damage with that combo. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. So on the reroll banner, I would recommend picking up Noah. She is, you know, at the top of the tier list because of how much damage she does. She's just a hyper carry DPS, and that's pretty much what you're going to need for your account. Next up, I believe you can only get one 5-star off of that reroll, or sorry, 3-star off of that reroll banner, but you can also pick up at least one 2-star and a couple of 1-stars. The 2 stars you're going to want to go for kind of vary. You know, there's a lot of good options you can pick up. Like Tio, right here,
is always ready
is
to go.
the best healer in the game. She has a lot of very useful abilities. So let's go ahead and take a look at those real quick. Look at her skills. So her first skill just deals damage, but it also gives your ally with the lowest HP a shield, which is proportional to her health for one turn. So this is going to kind of help in situations where, you know, someone got hit and you don't want them to die immediately. You can use this and kind of help save them until your second skill, First Aid, is off cooldown and you need it. Well, that would be her skill 3 actually. So her skill 2 triggers when someone gets hit on your team, and it'll automatically heal them, remove a debuff, and it's just very good. Like, it's kind of like a reactionary heal, which is very nice. And then you can follow that up with her skill 3 or her ult, whatever you want to call it. It heals an ally and increases defense, which is very good. It's a big one character heal, but with her skill 2 you have like a team-wide heal, so it kind of balances out. You know, just having a shield, a defense buff, and heals just make her very good for her utility. And once you start using her, it's easy to see why she's considered the best healer in the game. Next up for 2 stars would be Dolly. I know mine's 3-star right now, but she is normally a 2-star character. And the reason why she's good is because she has a lot of debuffs. She's not really going to do a whole lot of damage for your team, but she can reduce an enemy attack, she can reduce their speed and accuracy, she can silence enemies, which means they can't use their ult, and she has another way of reducing attacks, so she just helps your team survive, basically. So she's going to make enemies hit a lot less hard, she's going to make them slower, she's going to reduce their accuracy, which means you can start dodging attacks now. Just overall, she's going to increase the survivability of your team, and being able to silence is very good if you don't want to get hit with a heavy attack. So yeah, that's why I would recommend her as well. You know, she can just kind of help make content that would normally be a little too hard because you keep dying. You know, she kind of takes the edge off a little bit. And then next up for 2-star characters, well, characters that are normally 2-star. Actually, this would be a lot easier if I went into the codex, so I can see their natural star levels. Okay, so we covered Dolly. We'll get to Claire here in a minute. She is the best 1-star character, and I'll kind of go over her in a little bit here. But other 2-star characters, a good pickup would be Beth. So Beth over here is basically like a shielder for your team. So her first attack increases ally effectiveness, which is it just increases the chance to do debuffs. Not the best. Her skill 2 gives you a shield for your team for 2 turns. That's based off of her own HP, which is very good. Like if you just build her full HP, she's going to give you some decent shields. It also increases your team's resilience, which means they won't get hit with like debuffs or like status effects, or at least lowers the chance of those happening, which is very nice for dealing with annoying enemies. And then her ult has a chance to stun, which is going to make your opponent lose a turn. So she's just another like shielder utility character, which can be nice to have around, especially in the early game. Then for other 2-star characters, let's see who we thinking here. She is here, right here, Cindy. So Cindy is really good, just in general. Like she's just a really nice character to have around. So her normal attack damage is based on her speed. And if you don't know, speed is incredibly important in turn-based games. You want to go fast, and getting a bonus to your damage for being fast is just good. On top of that, she is also a support character, so you're going to want to build her for speed anyway. So that's just a nice little bonus to have. Her skill 2 increases all allies' attack and accuracy for 2 turns. So attack is important, speed is important. My favorite motto that I just came up with recently for these kind of games is go fast and beat ass. So you want to have a lot of attack, you want to have a lot of speed. That way you're just like mowing through enemies, just blazing. And you won't really have too much trouble with tanky enemies if you just overpower them. And accuracy is incredibly important. So you don't miss. Like, you can have a nuke, but if you miss, then it's not very effective, right? Like, you gotta have the speed and the damage, but you also want to be able to land your attacks. And Cindy is someone that's going to help immensely in that area. Alright, and then her ult increases the duration of buffs. So, right, you hit them with the skill 2, increase the attack and the accuracy, and then you can just prolong those buffs even further to where you can just have 100% uptime or close to it on this attack and accuracy buff. Yeah, and this is just more damage based off of speed. So she's just a really fast support character that can kind of do like a sub DPS. She's definitely someone you'll want to have eventually if you don't get her off of the reroll. So like there's definitely 2-star characters that are incredibly strong. Definitely don't discount them. And just for a reminder, they were Tio, Dolly, and I forgot her name already, Cindy. Those are like the main three that you're going to want to go for. Maybe Kate. She's not terrible either, but definitely those ones right there. You're going to want to re-roll for a combination of Noah plus either Tio, Dolly, or Cindy is what I would highly recommend. Now, if you're someone that likes to re-roll your entire account rather than just the banner that's provided for you, there are a couple of characters that you're definitely going to want to pick up. If you have the time to spend to re-roll your entire account, and the number 1 character on that list is going to be Valentine. Now, when I first started this game, everyone was like, oh, you gotta get Valentine, you gotta get Valentine. And I didn't really understand why until, I started playing. And that's kind of really what I want to do in this video, is explain why these characters are worth getting, maybe worth spending some time to reroll for, or saving up gems for, because they're good for a reason. Valentine here is definitely a top tier character, and she is pretty much the best support character in the entire game right now, because she just does so much. So her normal attack is going to boost the priority of the attack of the ally with the highest attack by 20%. So priority is basically the way like the turn order of characters. Like if you played 7 Mortal Sins, priority is basically the same thing as move gauge. So she is going to be buffing your characters to be able to attack sooner, not buffing their speed. She just moves them up on like the timeline of when they can attack. Her skill 2 increases the entire team's crit chance, crit damage, and then she gets an extra turn. So that means you can use her skill 2, buff everyone's crit rate, crit damage, use your skill 1 to make your main DPS come to the front and benefit off of all that crit rate and crit damage that they just got. And if you're running her with someone like Cindy, what you can do is if, let's say Cindy's your fastest character on the team, she buffs everyone's attack and accuracy. Valentine goes next, she buffs everyone's crit rate, crit damage, and then pulls your main DPS up to the front of the line, and they get to benefit off of the crit rate, crit damage from Valentine and the attack and accuracy from Cindy, and just go to town and just absolutely slam and jam. And then her ult, it just deals damage, but also reduces enemy priority of all the enemies that it hits by 25%. So she has priority buffing, priority debuffing, crit rate buff, crit damage buff. She just does pretty much almost everything that you would want a support character to do. Combined with Cindy, you have pretty much every buff in the game that you're going to want to be able to to go fast and beat ass, as I like to say. So like, she's just absolutely insane, and she has put in so much work, or helped my Noah put in so much work and be able to just demolish. And then for her chain passive, so she increases crit damage again, and then also increases the priority of the ally with the highest attack. So she's just like, she's here to support your main DPS. Like, if you wanted to, you could probably make her your main DPS, but there's just other characters that hit so much harder than her. She's just like an insanely good support character. Definitely worth rerolling for if you have the time and patience. But otherwise, just kind of hope you get lucky, like I did. Alright, and next up, another character worth rerolling your account for is Veronica. And the reason for this is she's just a jack of all trades. She tanks, she buffs, she does damage. She's just overall a very solid character. It's like impossible to find like anything she's bad at, honestly. So her normal attack taunts. So she's pretty much a tank. She's a bruiser, and if you can keep enemies off of your squishy teammates, she can just eat up the attacks. And then she also is able to activate a dual attack with your main DPS if she has a defense buff on her, which, spoiler alert, she buffs defense with her ult, but we'll get to that in a second. So another reason why Veronica is such a good bruiser, such a good tank, is as soon as her turn starts, she removes 2 debuffs from herself and grants a barrier to the ally with the lowest HP equal to her own health. So if she has the lowest HP. Like, let's say she's been tanking some hits, she just comes in with a free shield and can tank even more hits. Or like, let's say, you know, someone in the back isn't doing so hot, she's got him covered with a shield. Very nice. And then her ult increases the defense of all allies for 3 turns. Very good, very important. That means as soon as you use Endurance Cannon, you have 3 turns of dual attack with your main DPS from her skill 1. It's incredible. And then she removes buffs. She cleanses debuffs from whoever she hits. She's great. Just super solid all-around character. Her chain effect, she can increase defense and taunt. So she just controls the board incredibly well. She's going to tank hits. She's got a lot of survivability. She can enable your main DPS to get more hits in. She's, you know, just absolutely fantastic. A lot of stuff to go over at first. Before I forget, I do want to go over Claire, the 1-star that is actually a 3-star. So she is phenomenal as well. If you just want to build a hyper offense team, but you're worried that, you know, you might need a little bit of healing, Claire's got your back. So she is a nun with a gun. She is a healer, but you know, she's one of those style characters. So she buffs her own attack for 2 turns. She has healing and another attack buff. So sustained recovery is basically just regen, right, for 2 turns. Caster, so herself and whoever has the lowest HP are going to get some regen. And then her ult grants more regen and a barrier. So it's just good, and her barrier scales off of attack, so you can build her as your sub DPS while getting a lot of utility here, like a lot of attack buffs to herself to make her do more damage. You can get a bunch of healing for your team. You can get a shield. She's just good. And then her chain skill, she can increase attack like a lot. So if you guys ever played Genshin Impact, this is Bennett. All right, like if you don't know, Bennett is like the best healer attack buffer in Genshin Impact. Same thing for Claire. So definitely pick her up. Make sure she is in your reroll banner. She's a 1-star. She's going to be pretty common. So, you know, if you roll and you get, you know, Noah, Tio, and Claire, then definitely keep that roll and start the game. Alright, and then after that, once you've gotten to that point, you're going to want to try to blitz through normal mode. The story is really good, so make sure you read it and pay attention, because in hard mode, it kind of adds on to the story. It's not just, oh, you're doing the same thing over again. I mean, you kind of are, but you're not. Things change. So the story continues in hard mode is what I'm trying to say. So you're going to want to pay attention to the story. It's very good. I had a very enjoyable time playing through the story mode. But at the same time, you do want to beat episode 10 soon. Because at the time of recording, there is this banner right here. And this character is absolutely fantastic. She is a premium character. So, you know, she's mostly designed for the whales. But if you can get her, definitely go for it. And this banner here, also, it costs a little bit more than the regular banner. It's going to cost $22.50 versus the regular banner, which only costs $1,500. But that's because the pull rate is drastically increased compared to a regular banner. So definitely save up some gems for this banner. And then also there is a event going on right now where every single day, if you clear these requirements, you can get things that will let you summon on that banner. So definitely try to clear story mode soon, before this goes away. I think it's got about a month left at the time of recording, and if you guys are watching the video after that, just kind of, you know, disregard that whole thing and take your time and enjoy story mode. But after that, you got to get into your base. So another reason why you want to clear story mode is for these things up here. I can't remember what they're called. They're like antimatter coins or something. But you can also get them from the antiparticle generator. This is basically the idle portion of the game. Every 12 hours you get rewards. It's very nice. But you can get these coins, the antimatter coins, to kind of kickstart your base. And first thing I would recommend doing is getting this one right here, the automatic chain module and the automatic burst module. If you are going to be auto battling, you're definitely going to want these two. Number 3 is not very important, so you can ignore that one. And then you're definitely going to want to buff up your antiparticle generator so you can get maximum rewards from the idle mechanic every single day. And then after that, it's kind of whatever you want to do. Kate's workshop will be important for the late game when you're going to start crafting your own gear. The expedition, you can just send people out and they'll come back with stuff every hour. It's pretty good if you want to buff that up a little bit. The supply module, this is basically just a shop that refreshes every day. I haven't done anything with this yet because I want to finish Kate's workshop first, but there's a chance that this is going to be pretty good to invest into soon. Alright, now, as you progress towards the mid-game, you're going to want to do these bosses here, but before that, make sure you're doing your bounties and stuff first. I'm going to move again. That would be your daily quests, the Bounty Hunter, Bandit Chase, Upgrade Stone Retrieval. Do these every single day, even if the Upgrade Stone isn't, you know, available. These things are only open certain days of the week. Just do them anyway. You get rewards for it. The Archdemon's Ruins. You can go through this. It's just kind of like a labyrinth. You get some cool stuff out of it. Skyward Tower is another thing. You just climb up a tower and you get some rewards. You just fight enemies going all the way up. Definitely kind of keep going with this as far as your progress allows. But the most important things are the special requests. This is where you're going to be farming your gear. The Ecology Study, you fight one of these 3 bosses and you get your armor pieces, like your chest pieces, your gloves, your helmet. Very, very important to do this as you progress into the mid-game. So you don't want your account and your characters to fall behind. You're going to have struggle clearing content if you don't keep up with your gear. And the identification, this is where you guys will get your weapons, or what do they call these? Yeah, weapons and accessories. These are also very important. From both of these fights, the special requests, you will also get material from those fights to take into Kate's workshop over here, and that's where you get the crafting material to make new stuff. So you can grind for gear, or you can also, at the same time, you'll automatically be grinding for materials to upgrade and to craft gear. And then I think the last thing that I haven't covered yet, side story. Can't forget side story. This is where you're going to be able to like transcend your characters. And what I mean by that, it's kind of Seven Mortal Sins terminology. But you see how Noah here is a 3-star. Well, maybe you can't see it. I just keep moving all over the place. All right. So you see up here, Noah's a 3-star. She has the potential to go to 6 stars. So that's when you transcend them, and to do that, you need pieces of that character. Now, for a lot of characters, you can go into the side story, play through their side story, and then once you get to a certain stage, like this one right here, you can do this 10 times a day, and you will get pieces of that character you want. And then you can also select a character, like a 2-star character that you also want to get pieces for. So you're grinding for 2 characters in one stage, which is very important for making your characters stronger. And I think every character has one, except, like I was mentioning, the only character that doesn't have one is this character right here, because she is a premium character designed for whales. If you want her transcended, you gotta pull her. It's just, it is what it is. Kind of sucks, but that's just how they decided to do it. Alright, and right here, make sure you're keeping up with this stuff. You're gonna get a ton of goodies. I don't think you guys saw where I clicked. So, right here, right underneath the battle pass, you clear this stuff, you get tons of goodies. Like it's gonna be huge, especially in the early game. And then, right up here, this little party exploding thingy, that's where you get this stuff. You also get this stuff, and just like tons and tons of goodies just for playing the game. Yeah, and you can get a bunch of stuff. So the last thing I haven't covered yet is I believe Arena, and this is, you know, pretty standard. You fight against people, and then, you know, you rank up and you get stuff. As you're ranking up, you actually get rewards each time you achieve a new level in Arena. So definitely do this, get as far as you can. Even if you're not going to be competitive in PvP, just do it for the free gems. Like it adds up. It's a lot of free gems out of here. And they also have this thing called Memorial Match that you can do once every reset. You can just fight these 5 automatically made teams. They're going to be permanent. And then every day you can just farm out some gems, and it's a nice little bonus. Alright, so I think that's everything. There's a lot to go into about different kinds of gear and how to upgrade your gear, and, you know, look at substats and main stats, and I think that might be for a different video, because that is so much content, and this video is already so long already. But if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, anything you want to throw at me, maybe you want to throw a like and a subscribe, that'd be super cool. Or, you know, you can send me a friend request. That'd be kind of cool too. We can be friends in this game. But you know, until then, I think that kind of covers everything I wanted to go over. All the information that I learned as a new player, that I think would have been helpful to me when I first started playing the game. But if you guys have any more questions, let me know in the comments, and I'll do my best to answer them. But until then, I'll see you in the next video. Peace.